All right, welcome back. Evan Umstead here. We Move Podcast, Season 2, Episode 3, with a special guest on. I'm going to run through her accolades, and we're going to talk about it. A special guest of mine, Ian. She knows John. She knows Jada. She knows all the guys. A great friend of ours. High school, 4-year starter for the Monarchs, named to the 2016 Athletic Association of Catholic Academics All-Star Team. Played 5 years for Penn Fusion ECNL 9018 with fellow ECU signee Cash Copley, great friend of mine, a great friend of the pod. Prior to joining the Penn Fusion Pennsylvania State ODP team from 2014 to 2015, competed at the Region 1 ODP tournaments in Boca Raton, Florida, and Germany. 2017 at East Carolina University, my alum school. Played as a freshman, played and started all 18 matches, tallied the second most minutes, played on the team, goal, assist, helped anchor the defense to 5 shutouts, netted a goal and assist, and ECU's 3-0 shutout victory against our in-state arch rival UNCW. Sorry, Ashley Johnson, my high school, my fellow High Husky. Appeared in 18 games as a sophomore, started 15 of them, set new career highs in goals and assists. Led Cash Copley's game-winning goal. They clinched ECU's first postseason berth since 2015. Named the AAC's Defensive Player of the Week on August 27th. Earned a spot on the conference weekly honor roll. Played 90 minutes or more, 8 occasions. 2019, started all the games, named American All-Conference second team after anchoring the prior defense, led ECU in minutes played, went the distance, 17 of 18 games, named to the AAC All-Academic Team. 2020, started all 11 games, playing 1,011 of possible 1,038 minutes, named to the AAC All-Conference second team for a second straight season. The 4th Pirate ever to earn multiple all-conference honors, named to the preseason all-conference team. Helped spearhead a defense for the Pirates that finished 4th in Americans in goals allowed, giving up 1.13 goals a game, and recording a pair of shutouts. 2021, started all 19 games, finished their career as a Pirate with 84 games played, most in East Carolina history. 80 games started, tying her for second in the Pirate record books, named to the AAC All-Conference second team for a 3rd straight season, becoming the first player in East Carolina University history to get All-Conference honors 3 times in a row in the American Conference, 8th all-time in Pirate history. Helped spearhead the defense, named the AAC Defensive Player of the Week again, in that season. So just a legend. Now playing in Poland. I do not know how to pronounce the team's name, so I'm not going to say it. Playing in Poland, helped lead the team to the first ever, Poland Cup, finishing second there, unfortunately. But, Kim Sanford, ladies and gentlemen, welcome on to the pod. Kim, how are you doing?
Thank you. Thank you. That was hard for me, but thank you.
Yeah. Doesn't like to hear, positive things said about her. Thankfully, though, she's a Philly girl, Eagles fan, so we don't have much, as she puts it. It's a Philly thing. She doesn't have much on there. But how you doing, Kim? How's Poland over there? Rough year for your Philly sports teams again, unfortunately. But how's Poland? How's everything going for you?
Poland's good. It's been rainy and cold here. Last year I came, it was like 90s every week. This week it's been 60s, so struggling. But other than that, Poland's good. We're just getting ready for the season right now.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like I always I've heard Europe, it's like so weird. The weather's weird there. So
Different. So it'll be like the rain is never on the forecast. So like today we were walking, and all of a sudden it's downpouring and we're all like, okay, like we were not dressed for that.
Yeah, you have no idea. You just have to just always have your rain jacket with you. You have no idea what's going on.
I've been here for over a year. You would think I would know, but I just chance it every day. I'm like, if I get caught in the rain, I get caught in the rain.
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah, no, for sure. Do you have your
Mhm.
are you guys Celsius or are you Fahrenheit over there?
We're Celsius, which trips me up because the girls will be like, "Oh my god, it's so hot, it's 20 degrees." I'm like,
Yeah,
it's not computing. I'm confused. So I need to like figure that out. But I'm a Fahrenheit girl, so I'm gonna have to stay like that. I can't
yeah.
do it.
I was about to ask, do you have in your weather app? Is it still Fahrenheit for you?
Yeah, I kept it in Fahrenheit. I like change it to Celsius when like one of them will ask me how hot it is or something like that. But like I keep it Fahrenheit, keep my phone in like what is it like? Because they use like military time here.
Yeah,
Ooh, that trips me up. So my
yeah,
watch is in military time, my phone is in regular time for me because I get confused.
yeah. No, for sure. We'll talk about that for sure. All everything that
Mm.
goes with bowling. Um, I first question I always like to ask. I know you've heard it. Kind of what is the motivation behind Kim Sanford? Kind of what keeps you motivated?
Ooh, that's a big one. What keeps me motivated? I think I'm just like, I think I get it from my like family. We're like crazy competitive. So for me, I just want to be the best at everything. But like, I never think I'm like good enough, but in a good way. So like every single time I'm doing something, I'm trying to like outdo myself, outdo the person next to me. Like, that's my biggest motivation is just like to be the best, but like internally too, like how can I be my best me? Like I just want to like keep striving for like greatness and keep leveling up really.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. It's like always a constant quest. Like, I'm always trying to reach something, and even when I reach it, okay, I need more. So I think
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, I think that that's right on par. It's like Philly. I guess it's like Philly mentality. Kobe Bryant, Mamba mentality. Like just keep it
Hmm.
me versus
Yeah.
me, like you said on your Instagram. It's you versus you. Even
It's
though,
always me versus me. I'm my biggest critic, but also like my biggest supporter. So like if
yeah,
it's good enough for me, then I know it'll be good enough, period. But it's yeah.
yeah, no, I hear that. So like growing up, Philly area, born and raised. So like, how did you kind of get into soccer? Because like for me, you grow up in America, soccer isn't really
Hmm.
like it's not the number one sport.
Hmm.
Obviously like the Women's World Cup is going on, and we know we'll talk about that a little bit. But
Hmm.
how do you like? How did you get into it? Was it your parents? Was it
Hmm.
like your brother? Was it like what kind of got you going into it?
I hate admitting this because it gives him too much credit, but I really started playing because of my brother. He
Yeah,
started playing. I think it was honestly just like me and my brother had a lot of energy, and our parents were like, "We need to channel this into something." And like our soccer team was not like too like the club wasn't too far from us.
yeah,
Um, so they put my brother in it, and he was naturally just like gifted at it, like when he was little. And so me being the competitor that I am, even at 4 years old, I was like, okay, I want to be better than him. Like I had to do everything my brother did. So I started playing, and I just kind of like fell in love with it right from the beginning. My parents were a little upset because we're a track family at heart. Everyone in our family runs track. I mean, I ended up running for 7 years, but it was really soccer for me. But yeah, just watching my brother play and then watching soccer with him, like Premier League, even like way back then. It was hard to find, but like you could still find it.
right.
And just like watching those guys, like the way that they could move and like pass the ball, I was just like, I didn't understand to me like how a sport could be like so like beautiful to watch. Like I
Mm,
don't know, like I watch basketball and I watch some football, but like I'm not like whoa, like that. How did they do that? Like that's insane. But like with soccer, it's like how did this one man just ping the ball 40, 50 yards down the field and it dropped at someone else's foot, and then he one touches it to someone else that he couldn't even see that's behind him. Like to
right.
me, like watching that kind of thing and then being able to watch my brother do it also because he's 7 years older than me, like I was like, all right, I got to get in on that. So that's kind of just why I started playing. But yeah, it definitely wasn't like a super popular sport like when I started, because even my parents kept asking, are you sure like you want to stay with soccer? Like are you sure you want to, especially like when you're making that jump from like intramurals, like youth league to like club, when it gets cutthroat and serious.
Yeah,
They were like, are you sure you want to make this jump? Like this is a big commitment, like this is a huge sacrifice. Like I know like just deciding I wanted to do club, I had to give up pretty much all the other hobbies that I was into just to like really commit myself to it. And they were like, do you want to do this? And I was like, yeah, like this is my life now, like this is what I want to do. So
for
it was
sure.
my brother. Hate
Yeah.
to admit it.
Yeah. Well, he has to listen. He's gonna get a big smile when he listens to this. For your brother, like, did he play? Like, how long did he play? Like, how long was his career? I know you said you guys ran a little track, but how long did
Mhm.
he kind of play for?
So my brother played pretty much the same. He started like around the same age I did, like 4 or 5,
Mhm.
and he went to Stevenson University and he played there for 2 years. And then after that, he decided like I just kind of want to focus on my education. So he got his master's, got his whole family, he got his life and all.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't even know how old you are, like sophomore year of college, but that's when he ended up stopping.
Got you.
Um,
Got you.
but yeah, and that was my big thing. I was like, Chris stopped in college. Okay, I gotta go pro then. Like I can't. I gotta be better than him a little
Yeah,
bit.
you gotta take it to the next step. I was saying like
Exactly.
for me, like my dad played football at NC State. Uh
Hmm.
and like for me, like my big thing was like I got in the box score or like the box score and like I have
Hmm.
like clips and tape. Like obviously he
Hmm.
played in the 80s, so like his like any stats or like highlights that he could have had or
Hmm.
practice film, like he wouldn't have now. It'd be on like a
Hmm.
VHS or whatever. But like I
Hmm.
have my
Not
stuff, so it's like
VHS.
yeah, yeah. I have my stuff. So it's like I took it that one step. If I like have
Hmm.
children that like want to play, like okay, you go past this, you go pro, or you do good.
Hmm.
No pressure. I don't have any kids on the way, but no pressure. Whenever I do, watch this. Y'all try to take it to the next step. So no, I definitely agree with that. It was like
Yeah.
okay, I want to take this to the next step. But
Hmm.
in those hobbies that you gave up, what were some of those hobbies that you like to do?
Now that's crazy. I haven't thought about this in a while, but I used to like play the piano. Like
Yeah,
we were really close with our neighbors next door, and I remember one day like I heard him play the piano, and I was like, "Mom, I want to do that." So I
yeah,
like knocked on his door. I'm like, "Can you teach me? Can you teach me?" And he was like, "Yeah." So I would go over there like twice a week and learn how to play the piano. Um, what else did I do? Just like, oh my gosh, I used to like paint all the time. I used to love to dance. I used to do so much. It was just like I gave up a lot of like looking back now, like I gave up a lot of like being a kid to play a sport. Like I used to after every day at school, like finish my homework, then I go outside and play with my neighbor, like
yeah,
my neighborhood kids all the time, and like we play like till the street lights come on. Like
yeah,
I gave up a lot. Like I had to give that up when soccer came because that's when soccer practices were like.
mhm,
And like when I started doing club, like we were driving a long time to get to soccer practices. And I remember with my brother, like sometimes right after school, we would get in the car, drive 2, 3 hours for his practice, getting back in the car and like drive home. And it was the same thing for me. So yeah, I gave up a lot, like a
yeah,
lot to
yeah.
play soccer. And sometimes I wonder like, did I miss out on something, But then I like look at where I'm at today and I'm like, I wouldn't have any of that if I hadn't, made those sacrifices. But
Yeah.
I'm sure you know all about that.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's definitely a lot of
Hmm.
sacrifice. Like for me, like it's crazy. I've never even thought about like did I miss out on anything? Like when I was in
Hmm.
middle school, like they had the middle school dances and stuff. Never went
Hmm.
to one of those because I had AU
Yeah.
tournaments. Like I didn't even want to go to prom. Well, my junior year, I
Hmm.
like I had a girlfriend at the time, so I asked her
Hmm.
'cause, like I
Hmm.
knew she wanted to go. And actually, one of the most nerve wracking moments of my life. So 2 for 1 deal. You got to get a bargain, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
it was it was a homecoming, and it was like the,
Uh-huh.
the person who asked their date to in the
Hmm.
nicest way got free tickets to prom. So I was like free. So we had a pep
Hmm.
rally for basketball, and
Hmm.
like I like got these roses, and like we did a dance with the basketball team, like one of those like dances, like Midnight
Oh.
Madness, and like my girlfriend at the time like was there, and like we stopped it, and they were like, "Oh, Evan has something to say," and I was like, is she in the crowd? Like, is she here? And I couldn't find her at first, so I was like, "Oh man, I'm about to look."
Oh, imagine.
And like, she came out, and like her friends kind of had her dressed nice and stuff, like
Hmm.
because they kind of knew it was coming. And like, I had the
Hmm.
rose. I remember my hand, like everybody after was like, "Oh, yeah, like you play that so cool." Like I thought my hand was like shaking, and I was like,
Hmm.
"Do you want to go to homecoming?" And the whole school was there. I was like, "Do you want to go to homecoming with me?"
That's
And
cute though.
And she was like, yeah. And then like so then we like nobody was topping that. So we got the free
Hmm.
ticket. So I had to go then. And then my senior year I really didn't want to go, but one of my
Hmm.
boys was going, like James Lewis, one of my best
Hmm.
friends, he was going. And then like one of his dates, like best friends, I
Hmm.
just like kind of took her. And I was just like, all right, like, I'll do it. But those were the first dances I ever been to. It was the homecoming one
Yeah.
and then prom. Because like you said, you have to give up so much. You have to sacrifice.
Yeah, I couldn't go to prom. I was in Arizona for some tournament. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you didn't go to either prom, junior or senior?
I went to so I wasn't to a really small school, so like junior and senior prom are the same thing. But like
Oh.
I went my junior year, didn't go my senior year, and then one of my friends, like, because I went all girls school, he went to all boys school. He was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna ask you because like
Mhm.
we could just go,"
Yeah.
and I couldn't go to his either because I was in Boston for soccer. So
Yeah.
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 And one
No.
of my can you wait, listen to this. I
Yeah.
love telling this story because it makes me seem like such like a clout chaser. But one of my friends, I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be able to go to like prom. And she was like, oh, is it because you can't find a date? She was like, I actually have a friend. He goes to St. Joe's Prep and he needs a date to go in at prom. His name's DeAndre Swift.
What?
Yes. And I was like, and I couldn't go, so it didn't matter. But yeah, like he went to our brother's school. Like we went to like Gwen and Mercy, so like LaSalle and like St. Joe's Prep were our brother schools, and like that's where he went. So like I got to watch him play like high school football against like LaSalle, like whatever, and he made them look stupid. So
Yeah. No, I remember like seeing his like high school film, and I was like,
he's crazy.
yeah, no, St. Joe's Prep. No, St. Joe's Prep is like really good. That's like where like Marvin Harrison Jr. went. Like I don't know if
Mhm.
you know who that is, but he's like really good. But like and Kyle McCord, who's supposed to start for a house, like yeah, that's a really good school. Dang, that's crazy. Kim, you missed
Yeah.
out. You could have been. You
I
could.
know. I should have said, yeah, I'm going. But like, she was like, oh, is it because you don't have a date? I was like, it's because I won't be in the state. Like, I'll be in a different time zone.
Yeah,
But
no, that's funny. So,
mhm.
kind of tied back into that soccer. When you started, like going up, were you always like were you just put it like really good? Like, did it come naturally? Did you like work hard at it? Like, go to extra training sessions? How was that kind of the growth with that?
That's actually a really good question. I was naturally athletic because like I ran track, so I was always fast. I was always strong. Thank my parents for these legs because I did not work for them when I was younger. But
I'm
it's
gonna cut you
hard.
off there. I'm gonna cut you off there, Kim. Don't act like we weren't in the weight room. You were throwing around that weight, though. You were throwing around
I
that.
was, but when I was younger, I was not.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true.
When I was younger, I was not. But I was like, I was always good. But no one ever considered me to be like, oh, let's call her up to the national teams. Oh, let's do this, let's do that. Um, and like a lot of my friends were, so that was like kind of hard for me. Like the first time I even considered myself to be like decent was when we went to like this like we had ODP, which is like your state, and some states have multiple depending on like how many people. And then you have regional camp, and like at this camp, like you can make the regional team. There's like 4 regions in the whole country, and like that's when I got to go to like Florida and Germany and stuff.
Yeah.
And I ended up making the pool, like the team basically all the whole week because you get called to like practice sessions or whatever. And like I just remember like the whole like imposter syndrome thing. I was like, I should not be here. Like there are
Mhm.
girls like first of all, half the regional team was my club team. So I don't know why I felt like that. But I
Yeah.
was like, these girls are getting national team call ups and looks at youth national teams and talking to like UNCs and like these big schools. And like I don't feel like I should be a part of that because I never have been like to this point. Like that was the most I had ever been selected for.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that was big for me was imposter syndrome. So I'm always going to say that I never considered myself to be like a top player, but I don't know if like coaches around me would agree, But like it's just hard when you are surrounded with the best of the best in the country. If you're not on the same level as them, you don't think you're as good. Like like my friend 8th grade is committing to UNC. Like she going. She's like, yeah, I'm going to UNC. Other girls committing to UVA, Virginia Tech, the Penn States. And like I was really lucky to be surrounded by all of those girls who were like all amazing soccer players and some of them still playing now. But it was like, okay, well, I'm not getting the calls up to national team camps and I'm not getting the looks from UNC and stuff. So I always considered myself not one of the top players, but I think maybe it was just like I was comparing myself to literally like top 10 players in the country.
Right.
So it's hard for me to answer that question. But then also being a little brown girl, a lot of times you're told like when I went to visit schools, a lot of times it was, oh, we want you because you're so athletic. We want you because you're so fast, you're so strong. And I was like, are you seeing me as an athlete? Or are you seeing me like as a soccer player? And to me, there's like a little bit of a distinction. Like you can be athletic and a great soccer player, but you can also just be a great soccer player and not be athletic. So like I didn't ever know like what were they saying. And I mean like random plug, but like that was part of the reason I went to ECU at the time because the coach was like, I just think you see the field really well and you have really good vision and you can play those long balls. And like that wasn't something I was getting from other places. I just felt like I wasn't being appreciated as a player. Um, so yeah, so it's hard for me to answer that question because I don't know if
Yeah.
I was making like good teams and stuff and like starting on these teams and getting good minutes as these teams. But like for me, like I never considered myself one of like the best. But like in terms of like extra trainings and stuff, like it was hard for me to do extra trainings when I was younger just because I was also running track. So I would like go to school, go to track practice, leave early from track practice and go to soccer. So it was hard for me to do extra in that because I was dead doing that just
Right.
alone. But I mean, I would work out with my brother like all like if when I could, like we would just go to the field and just like ping balls at each other back and forth. So I was like learning how to receive balls from like a fully grown man shooting them at my neck. Like he was not taking it easy on me.
Right.
And like a lot of times during the summer, if I didn't have like workouts or stuff like that, like we would go to the field early in the morning and like he would coach me or try to coach me because you know I'm not listening to my brother. He told me to do something. Like I'm
Yeah.
like, come on. I'm like, you don't know what you're talking about. You only been playing for this long. I don't actually listen to you, but yeah, I would go to the field with him and like we would like mess around. It was really just to hang out, but like
Yeah. It helps you get
that was a
better.
really long-winded way of saying like I could have been decent, but I don't know because in my head I was like I'm not as good as the girl next to me, but also I kind of trained but kind of didn't train.
Yeah, well, I'll go ahead and say, Kim, I've seen you play multiple times. You are good enough. You've been good enough as long as I've known you at ECU. And I know I know you're like making that, but Kim, you have been good enough and you are good enough. So that's a good segue. I do have two things I want to ask.
Mm-hmm.
Is when did you start running track?
When I stopped,
Stop, sorry. Yeah.
uh,
Well,
I
start and
stopped
stop.
running or started. Oh my god, I didn't
Both.
have a choice.
Yeah.
I started running when I was in like I think like third or fourth grade. So my dad wanted me to run. So I had no choice. Cause like I said, we're a track family. Like my mom and dad ran
Okay.
and coached together and that's how they met. All my aunts and uncles ran and coach and like my cousins and stuff still run. My aunt like officiates. Like she like we're a track family through and through.
Mhm,
Um so I started like third grade and then my dad decided he wanted to coach my team
mhm,
the next year. So he coached me on all the way until eighth grade. And then the school I went to has like a legendary track coach, Larry Wilson. Like, if you know track in Pennsylvania, you know this man. Like, he's good. And he just happens to be really good family friends.
right.
So they were like, you're going to run there. So I ran my freshman year. And then I believe I took a break until my junior year because sophomore year is when I was getting recruited and track was really messing with me, like soccer wise, just like the intensity of the workouts and then going right into soccer practice was just, I wasn't doing well. So I was like, I have to take a break. So I took a little break sophomore year. Then I think I stopped running my senior year, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but yeah, that
What did you run?
was hard.
Yeah, I bet it was. What did you run? Like what events?
Oh my God. That's a great question. I did the 100, 200, 400, 4x1, sometimes the 4x4 if I was unlucky. Long jump, triple jump, high jump.
So everything.
I think that's it. Yeah, but like I had a mental block when it came to high jump. Like I was good, and then it was just like one day I was like,
Yeah,
can't do it anymore.
yeah,
But my favorites were like long jump, triple jump. You put me in a sand pit, I'm having the time of my life.
yeah,
I
yeah,
loved it. That's the one thing I really miss. But I mean, I miss running track because it's just different than soccer. I think I just miss doing something competitively that wasn't soccer.
yeah.
But track practices,
Uh, I ran track. I ran track 1 year. It was when I
hmm
moved to Charlotte, and
hmm
they said like if you want to play football, you have to run track. And like I'm not like in like it's different. Like basketball speed, like with the ball, and like
hmm
even football speed compared to like
hmm
track speed. Like, and I'm in Charlotte. So the
hmm
story I always tell, another one of this wasn't like a nervous, this was just an embarrassing time in my life,
hmm
was I tried to always just do the triple jump. I tried to just always
Mhm,
do that because like I was like, okay, I don't want to run. Like I'm not
mhm,
really that fast, like compared to everybody else. And
mhm,
like this is like another reason why I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna stick to basketball. I'm gonna drop football,
mhm.
like because I don't want to do this. Like I hate, like you said, the workouts. I hated those. I hated running off
Insane.
those, like insane. Like I hated doing those. So we were at West Mech. I'll never forget it. We're at West Mech, and like you said about being unlucky, how they just like be like, "Hey, you're doing this today." And I'm like, "Whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, whoa!" Like I'm not like I do the triple jump and I leave. I just sit on the side, like I'm just doing this so I can play football. My
Mhm.
football coach came up to me like, "Hey, Evan, you're running 200 today," and I was like, "What?" Like, okay, like, all
You
right,
didn't wanna run the 2? The 2 is my favorite.
but like Kim, I was like in practice, like I'm like slow walking it, like I don't like I'm not like I
Nah, because we would've had problems. Because I was the captain of my track team. I would've yelled
no
at
no
you.
no no, I wasn't like jerk like messing around with my effort or anything. But like I would forget my spikes and stuff. Like you know, I'm saying like I wasn't like a track. Like I thought because you know some days you don't need your spikes. So I'm like, all right. So like
Mm-mm.
one time like there's always this funny story. One time like we like people forgot their spikes. Like I don't know because like we didn't need them and like the coach told us the day before like bring them. And for some reason like everyone forgot them for the most part. And he was like,
Mhm.
Coach Bobby Collins, he had his big voice. And he went down the line of all the football players like, Corbell, you got spikes? Quentin Johnson, you got your spikes? And like we like none of us had a spike, so he was like, go home, go home, go home. So we were like bet because we didn't want to like we were
Yeah,
like
that's a good thing.
yeah like we didn't want to run today anyways. So we were walking up there. Help, they have this huge steep hill you have to walk up. And like he got to one of my boys. This is my boy. Like it really is. He was a good friend of mine. He still is to this day. And his name's Quentin Johnson. Q. Everybody called him Q. And Q like he like I'm not. This is my boy. First of all, everybody, this is my boy. So like Q like has like a Like he stutters a little bit. Like he stutters.
Mhm.
And I remember they got the
Oh,
quiz, and
dear.
he was like, "Q, do you have your spikes?" And he was like, my spike. And we started
Evan!
dying laughing because he was like stuttered. Cause he knew he didn't have his spikes, and he was
Evan, no,
like
you
he was like making up
didn't.
some excuse, and everybody started dying laughing to this day. I'm gonna send this to Q. I'm gonna send this to Corey Bill, and I remember everybody was like laughing because they were like, "You don't
You
have."
did not. You ain't have to do all that. You ain't have to do that man like that.
So,
That's not your
so,
friend. That's not
so
your
we got,
friend.
so we got sent home. So it was hilarious. To this day, it was so funny. And so anyways, we're at West Meg, right? And he's like, "You're running 200." Mind you, I don't even know how to
Mhm.
get. I haven't been practicing getting out of the blocks. I've been triple jumping, like I've
You
been.
don't know how to get out the blocks?
No, I have no idea how to get out of the blocks. So I don't even know how to run track. This is my first. Like I didn't grow up like running track. None of this. So we're at West Meg, Kim.
I'm stressed.
So I asked my teammate Mark Fields. This dude was a crazy freak athlete. Like he ran like a 4.340 or 4.440 at the NFL
Mhm,
combine. Under Armour All American. Went to Clemson. Played in the NFL a little bit. His dad played in the NFL. This dude's a speed. Like
mhm, mhm.
so he's running it too. So I'm asking him right. I'm like, all right, like I never ran a 200. Like what heat should I run in? He goes, oh yeah, like all the slow people go last. Like just go last. I'm like, all right, like all right.
All
I'm
right.
lining up and I'm like getting ready. Like okay, the first heat's going, the second he's going. It's getting closer to mine. I see people walking over. Right. I see this one dude. That colorful book bag. Colorful. It's like a colorful book bag. What that bag is like. All the bags that
Yeah.
students get when they go to nationals or
I was gonna say, you looking at them New Balance All American
yes,
bags.
yes. So
Yo,
I'm looking at the
yo.
New Balance bag. I'm like, hold on, that looks like a special type of bag. Like I don't know. And then I see one other dude walk on with a USA bag with tags on it. I'm like, oh man, no way. So, but mind you, it's only like the second heat. So I'm like, okay, like maybe they're going in the third. That's when all the fast people going. Then I'll go with the slow people, whatever.
That is not how the heats work.
And then a dude walks over with a Carolina UNC bag. And I'm like, oh, what's going on here? So then the third, he goes and they still warming up. I'm like stretching, like acting like I'm warming up, trying to do what they doing. I'm like, oh man, these dudes are in the heat with me. So I get on the furthest lane, thinking that's the close, like, okay, I'll get in the furthest lane. It's closer. I can, I'll be all right. I didn't look, Kim. I didn't know. I did not know, Kim. I didn't know any of this. So I'm warming up, right? Boom, we get ready. I'm trying to line up in the blocks. I don't know how to come out the blocks. I'm trying to line up. I'll probably look crazy.
Do you even know how to
Everybody
set them
knows what it
up?
is. So the gun goes off. I take off. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm ahead of him. I'm good. I'm good. We hit the turn, Kim. Shoom,
Mm-mm.
shoom, 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 shoom.
Yeah.
I ran, I lie to you not, Kim. I ran the last 50 to 75 meters alone. It's people in the stands recording me, like recording me. I'm like, I'm trying to get out of there. It might be less than 50, 75. It might have been like 25 or something. People were like recording me laughing. I'm like, oh man. I take off my spikes, go sit on the bench, put in my headphones. I don't talk to anybody. Mark comes up to me, like my coach college, like, good fight, like good fight. You try, good fight, good fight or something.
Not good fight.
Like something like that. And I was like, oh my goodness. And then after
Evan.
that, I'm like, I'm never running track again. Like I went to like I was in basketball workouts. I just said this on a podcast I was on yesterday. They were like, the football coach came into the basketball workouts, and I was already overwhelmed because Charlotte's like a big area. A lot of people that like football train all year, and like I was already behind trying to keep up with basketball too. And the football coach poked his head in the gym, and I was just like, he was like, "You coming to football? You playing football this year?" I was like, "No, man. Like, no. This dude had me run, like, embarrass me. I'm not playing football for this dude. Like, I'm better at basketball anyways, man. I'm done."
Oh, no, because your friend is the real villain who told you to go last.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I
yeah,
understand what he means. Like, first or last is the fastest. You gotta go in the middle if you don't know.
yeah, yeah. Then I realized, yeah, me and Mark Fields, we would just be acquaintances. Then, like, we wouldn't be.
Yeah, y'all
Yeah,
weren't friends.
yeah. But yeah, no, it's funny though. Yeah, no, that was my experience with track. So when did you stop?
When
You
I
said,
stopped, like, officially stopped,
yeah, were you getting like
mm,
recruited for it?
was I what?
Getting recruited for it?
Yeah, but like D2,
Yeah,
D3,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Because I was only running for high school. I wasn't running club too.
Mhm.
So like, oh, my coach tried. He really tried it.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm so sorry. I cannot do both. But he wanted to call the coaches at ECU and be like, she can run. She can do it. I couldn't. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I was not going D1 for track. There was no way. Like, I hated the sport. I hated my life when I ran track. I
Yeah.
was like, there's no way. My parents wanted me to so bad. My dad was like, come on, you can do it. You can do it. I was like,
Yeah.
no, sir. No, sir. But yeah, I stopped my senior year of high school because I was like, I gotta focus on soccer. I can't do this. But
Yeah.
track, them workouts, my dad was our coach. This is when I knew I couldn't trust my dad. He made us do 400 meters of lunges around the track. Then we had to do side lunges around the track. Then we had to run after. We were doing like 400, like split 500s, like ladders or something afterwards. And I could not feel my legs after. I have never had that kind of pain. No D1 workout, no pro workout, no workout I've ever done with a trainer has ever made me feel as sore as that. I was like, I can't trust my dad. What can I say?
Yeah.
I can't trust this man. Yeah, that track,
Yeah. No, track
don't
is
do it.
track is brutal. You're a different animal. Shout out to all the track people. Shout out to ECU track. It's some great people from ECU
Yeah,
track.
those are my people for real. On the track team, those are my
Yeah.
people.
Shout out Bria. Shout out to all the people on the track team for sure. But that was,
Hmm.
yeah, Dylan Craft, he was on the track team. Some more people at the ECU. They had
Oh
a great
my
track team. Shout out
god,
to them.
like Kayan and them, Mackenzie and
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
Yeah,
Asa, shout out to Asa. Shout out to,
yeah.
yeah,
RJ's new. RJ, shout out to
yeah,
RJ. But
yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, no, that's not for
no,
yeah, not for us. Yeah, definitely not for us.
absolutely not.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. I
What
think I ran. I think I was at the Penn Relays and I had just run my 4x4. Mm-mm. And then Sydney McLaughlin ran right after me, and I was like, yeah.
yeah.
This is back when she was still in high school, I think. I was like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
an Olympian. That's an Olympian.
Yeah.
I need to stick to soccer.
Yeah, no, for sure. I hear that. Kind of tying back to what you talked about. So like with the girls that, committed to school, eighth grade, for you, when did kind of your recruiting process start? What other schools did you kind of look at? And then when did you know like, oh, I'm going to ECU? Like, and that's you committed there and kind of had that process.
So looking back now, because they've like changed the rules now, like you can't talk to people to like junior, senior year. But like looking back now, I was really late in the recruiting process, which is part of the reason I didn't think I was as good as everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't commit to ECU until my like middle halfway through my sophomore year of high school.
Mm-hmm.
And like that was like late. But yeah, that was it was just a really hard process, like because you're so young and you're trying to figure out where you're gonna go, and sometimes you're trying to figure out where you're gonna go 2 years in the future, 3 years in the future, 4 years in the future. Like you don't know who you're gonna be. You don't even know what you want to do yet.
Yeah.
Um, so that was a really hard process and just hard mentally too, because at that time, like before your junior year, like you could still talk to coaches, but you had to initiate it. So I could text coaches and I believe they could respond, but I had to be the one initiating. It was very weird how you could do everything. Like I could call coaches, but they couldn't call me kind
Yeah.
of thing. So it was hard on your mental too, because it would be like you go to these like big national team showcases and they would be like, oh my gosh, our first one, there were literally 200 coaches on the sideline at once. But like during the whole game, there could be upwards of 300 coaches that had come and watch you, that take a little packet of like your name and your stats and like all that. But like if you don't play a good game when that coach that you want to see you sees you, they might not come back. So like everything is heightened, all this pressure. And then we had coaches start coming to our practices back at home. And it's like practices where you're supposed to be able to chill and like make mistakes. And then it feels like you can't because you've got Syracuse coach on the sideline, Virginia Tech coach on the sideline, Penn State coach on the sideline. Like these are like, good schools. And I'm like, ah.
Yeah.
So it was really hard. And then like some of my teammates going through the whole Ivy League process, their recruiting process totally different. So we would talk a lot about like how hard it was to see like some of our teammates committed so early and like we're still trying to figure things out.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I know like there was like I really wanted to go at one point to Notre Dame. Like that was really big for me. And the coach had like reached out to my coach and I was like, okay, like that's a big school. Like even now, like that's a really good soccer school. And I was like, oh, this could really be it for me. But I had one game where I just played so bad, and that happened to be the game that the coach came to. And after that, I couldn't get a hold of her. Like that was it. And when I finally got a hold of her after leaving like message after message after message, she was like, like I'll give you a call next time. I'll give you a call. Never heard back.
Yeah.
So it's just like that's how cutthroat like it really gets. But um, I let's see. I'm trying to think. My recruiting process like started, I think maybe like the beginning of my sophomore year. And I remember I was talking to like Syracuse, St. Joe's, Pitt, James Madison, Kentucky. Uh, I'm trying to think. There were so I can't even think. But those were the schools that I was like actually considering. Like there are other schools, you talk to like Yale, but I was like, I don't really want to go to Yale. I want to go to Yale. um, but I'm trying to
And schools
think.
like
Like,
Ivy League, they don't give out scholarships. Like you have to
yeah, like it's so like their whole I honestly still don't understand it. Like I have friends that went to Penn, friends that went to Columbia, and Harvard and stuff, and like I don't understand the recruiting process at all. Like I don't get how it works. Proud on them for being a Penn, like a Ivy League and like all that, and still being an athlete, but like, ooh,
yeah,
that's a lot.
yeah, no,
But I'm trying to think. I was really considering James Madison before ECU. Like those were my two, and Pitt too, but at the time the coach for Pitt wasn't really giving me the best vibes, and I'm like, I don't
yeah,
want to go there. But and they were not doing well in the ACC, because the ACC is like, oh, that's a soccer conference. Like you got Clemson, UNC, like you got the big dogs in the ACC, so they were not winning games. I'm like, I'm not gonna go there. But it was between James Madison and ECU. And I remember, like, no hate to JMU. Like, that is a beautiful campus, beautiful everything. Like, their facility is really nice. Like, the people were lovely, so nice. But, like, I literally walked out of the, uh, visit I had, and I was with my mom, and I was like, I feel like they were trying to sell me something, Like, I feel like they were pushing it so hard that it makes you wonder, like, what are they hiding almost, Like, when you walk into a car dealership and you walk in like already skeptical because they're trying to like get you on something. That's what I felt like. And
yeah,
I was like, I don't know.
yeah,
And ECU was actually the only visit I did with my dad. Like my mom and I did all the visits together, but ECU I went with my dad. And like they were just so nice. Like I was like, they are just like the sweetest people. And this was a totally different staff, mind you. Like this was like Coach Donenworth, Coach Shay Nonan, and like Brian Perriman. Like they were the sweetest people I've ever met. I was like, I love them. I want to be coached by them. I remember I already had a really great relationship with Shay and Brian. I was like, these are my coaches. This is it. Like I love them. I would talk to them like after I committed, just like to talk, just to ask, how are you? Like all this. Like we were tight. But yeah, when I came to ECU, my biggest thing was like I just felt like the community was all about ECU athletics, no matter what sport you played, and that was big for me because I knew some of the other schools that I was looking at were like really big football schools, or like Syracuse, like basketball is huge, but I felt like women's soccer was an afterthought. I mean, and it is all the time. But when I came to ECU, like obviously, it's a football school mainly, but like I still felt like they cared about their soccer team. I mean, the field is the best in the conference, still is. Like it's gorgeous. Like facilities are beautiful, locker room was wonderful, and I was just like, this is where I should be. Like I could just picture myself there. Like it was great, and it turned out great. I mean, I stayed for 5 years, so
Yeah, yeah, no, for
yeah, I met some cool people. This weird guy named Evan Umstead, though. Like I'm not really about him. Like everyone else was cool, but
sure.
like yeah, no.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Mhm.
But to kind of talking about the ECU, so kind of how was your time there? If you want to talk about that a little bit, because you guys had some coaching changes. Obviously, you got to meet great people like Evan, that Evan
Mhm.
said guy. He was, pretty solid. Cool friend, Rock. Probably the best person you met in Greenville. You're not gonna toot that.
That's crazy.
But go ahead and talk about like your time at ECU and your time in Greenville.
My time at ECU was honestly, like looking back, it was really crazy. Like to think about how many coaches I had, because the coaching staff that I was recruited under, two-thirds of them were gone by the time I got there. So when I got there, it was the same head coach, two new assistant coaches. The
Mhm,
next year after that, everybody was gone.
mhm,
So that was like just learning how to adapt to different coaching staffs was really difficult for me in the beginning, because when Jason came in, like he came in with like, we're not overhauling everything. Like he tried to hold our hands through it in the beginning, but like it was basically an overhaul. Because when
yeah.
he got there, we had as a team no discipline. Like I can't even imagine it now because like my mind has been completely changed. But like it was to the point where he would text us and be like, "You need to set up a meeting." And when your coach texts you, like you gotta do it. But
Yeah,
we just didn't. Like we were all just like, all right, yeah, because that's what we were used to. We were used to being able to do whatever we wanted.
yeah,
So I just remember like actually getting to like change my mindset and have discipline and be like, okay, these are things I have to prioritize. I have to do this. I have to do this. I have to spend time working to get better on these kinds of things. Like was not something that I was used to. So like I really like shout out to Jason for that. Like it's hard for me to give him credit because we did have our times, our rifts,
yeah,
but like we'll talk about it.
yeah,
we really
yeah,
had our disagreements. really had our disagreements. I'm sure you heard me complain plenty of times.
yeah,
But
plenty
like,
of
yeah, but like I will give him credit on that. Like the discipline thing was huge, and that's something I carry with me now. So I'm really grateful for that. But yeah, just because I literally my sophomore year when he came, I remember after every game I'd be like, I'm transferring, I'm out of here,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
gone.
yeah.
I'm
I think it
no.
was yeah. No, I was gonna say I think it was everyone. I think everyone on the whole team was just like, "Oh, we hated." Like when everybody was miserable. But here's the thing, though. It was
Yeah.
kind of the same thing, though. Like we played under Dooley too, so it was hard.
Mhm.
Like it was hard to play under him. And like
Mhm.
not even like it wasn't even just discipline. Like for me, like I always kind of just been on like a discipline like regimen. So like it wasn't even
Mhm.
that. It was just like you said, like your whole team, like if you like our whole program when it comes to like basketball, it was like we were
Mhm.
undisciplined as a whole. So it's like
Mhm.
get punished for like other people and then
Yeah. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
all that stuff is just like
Mhm. It
it's
was,
hard. It's hard to play for
dude, it's so hard.
yeah.
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 You know. You
Yeah.
know. I
Yeah.
think after every game I'd be like, yeah, I'm out of here. But like obviously I stayed.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, and then even with Jason, we had turnover with assistant coaches. So I think I counted, I've had over 10 coaches the entire time I was at ECU, which is like actually kind of insane a little bit. But yeah, but like, yeah, my time at ECU was crazy. We went through a lot, like as a program. We had a really great year when Jason first came, and then the second year was not nearly as good because we had injuries, like, and just things weren't clicking. And he kept calling it like the second year hangover. And like, that's kind of what it was, like we just kind of got complacent with where we were, and then new transfers coming in and things like that. But then that what is it, like my junior year or something, things got a little bit better. Or no, my senior year things got better, but then COVID. I don't even know what even to talk about with that.
Yeah.
But it was just like I just saw myself like as the years got over, like just becoming a more well-rounded, like not just like soccer player, but like person, just like knowing what I needed to do to get myself in line, but then also being able to like help other people do the same thing because I knew what to do. But like it's hard, like college soccer, like getting there, it's hard on your mental, it's hard on your body. Like I said, there's so many times where you just don't want to do it anymore because like it's like I don't know how else to say, like it's just difficult. Like you have to deal with this coach who you don't even agree with a lot of the time. Like I remember my biggest thing with Jason was like, and I would say all this to his face, so like if this comes out, I don't care. But like my biggest thing was like I was on a leadership group, right? And I have a major problem with leadership groups and like captains on teams in general because I think it makes this like weird power dynamic where it's like I'm the same as you, but now I'm telling you what to do, but also I have no real authority because I'm the same as you.
Right.
And so it can create kind of like almost like distrust on your team. And I feel like because I mean, I'm a very outspoken individual.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. Like I will talk. I will chat all day. And I'm not afraid to like say what needs to be said. And I think he saw that in me and saw that I was someone that people felt like they could talk to, like anyone on the team, because you have your different social groups and stuff. And I feel like this is a strong word, but like exploited that in a way to make me into like the leader that he needed me to be, which is cool. But for me in doing that, I feel like it like distanced me from other people on the team, which made it really hard for me because I'm the kind of person where like I want to be everybody's friend, like I want to talk to everybody.
Mhm.
So that was hard, just because I knew that distance was there and I felt it, and like learning how to deal with that. Like sometimes you are going to be an authority figure to some people, and like how do you balance that dynamic, but also be someone's friend at the same time and make sure that they know that they can talk to you. And like that was something I really struggle with even now. Like thinking back on, like I hate that he did that almost because we did have a group and I felt like I was like the main person, like I was the captain, I had to be that person. But at the same time, it's like that taught me things that I take now into Poland and like being a leader and being a role model for some of these, like we have a really young team. So like for these younger girls is great, like that I can draw on that experience. But like that's just college soccer sometimes, like you're forced into roles that you don't necessarily want to be in and like you might not think are the best for you, but like it's the best for the team. And like that's a big thing I've noticed between like professional and like college is like college is really about the team. Like what can we do to make the team better? And like that's still true at a professional level because you're on a team, but it really is more like you can be more selfish than you could be like college soccer. And so that's something I've had to adjust to a little bit. But yeah, like ECU, it was a great 5 years, but I learned a lot and it was really hard, really hard.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So also like with you being there
I don't
five
know if
years,
that answered your question. I feel like I was just talking.
no, no, you definitely answered it for sure. With you being there 5 years too, like, you're able to get like your education, get your degree, and then, kind of go for that master's. Like, how are you able to
Mm-hmm.
kind of balance that as well as being a leader on the team that you kind of talked about? Being able to,
Mm-hmm.
understand like, hey, I might be an authority in a way, but like at the end of the day, we are
Mm-hmm.
still here on the same team. Like we're trying to accomplish something.
Mm-hmm.
So like how did you balance that with your academics? Because for those that don't know, masters, like degree, psychology, like you did well with your academics
Mm-hmm.
as well. So kind of talk about how you balance that
Mm-hmm.
as well as embracing that leadership role a little bit, kind of how you said.
Well, I was first of all, shout out to like the people at ECU because like the like Lisa Fredrickson was my advisor and she if it wasn't for her, like I wouldn't have been able to do anything. So like
Yeah,
shout out to her. I literally just talked to her the other day and I had to let her know that. But like what happened was with COVID, like I got an extra year and I wanted to stay at ECU. Originally I wanted to do PT, but like starting PT and playing soccer was literally after talking to like the director of the program, they're like, you literally can't do that. Like it's not gonna work.
yeah,
And so the other route was like masters. And so Lisa Fredrickson, a real goat. She was able to get like 2 of the classes that I needed already like taken away. She was like, okay, you did well enough in the first, like, it was like exercise phys 1 and exercise phys 2. And I literally got like a 99 in exercise phys 1. She goes, I think I could talk to them and get them to maybe like agree to drop 2. And then another elective I had, they just substituted with some like independent study that I was doing. So I was able to start my master's in sports psych. um, but yeah, it was actually pretty easy, like seamlessly flowing into my master's because I had started my like, like your thesis is like your big project that you're supposed to do. I had started that in undergrad with Dr. Habib, another goat for real. And so I was doing research with like mental health and like women's soccer players and things like that. So I was able to start that early, which made it really easy to flow into like when I actually started my master's. But that was another thing. That was Masters is just different. Everything's like very independent. Um, it's very much on you to do everything, and like it's more interactive with the faculty. Like you're expected to meet with your like faculty advisor like maybe multiple times a week, and maybe meet with other faculty multiple times a week. So you're really forced to like kind of network in a way and like really get to know the people around you. My master's cohort, like I was kind of awkward because I started halfway through. So I kind of feel like I was a part of 2 cohorts, but they're awesome people. I still talk to a lot of them now because we all like we're trauma bonded, we say. Like that was like a lot of like the thesis, like, whew, that's a different animal. But with me being sports psych masters, I felt like I was really able to like try stuff that I would learn about in the classroom with my own team, just in terms of like transformational leadership and like knowing how to motivate, not knowing how to motivate people, but understanding the different types of motivation that there are. Like, how can I translate that onto the field and like trying to motivate like my teammates like intrinsically, like instead of like just doing like a transactional, like if you do this I'll give you this, or if you do this then you get that, like trying to kind of like make them want it for themselves. That's something I learned a lot. And I mean, I still use that now, even with myself. I'm like, all right, how do I make myself want this? Like, what value is this adding for me? Like, and things like that. But yeah, I'm definitely lucky that I was doing like sports psych because it made it easier to pay attention in class and easier to do well because I could directly apply it to my life. Um, Especially like even the mental health stuff, like that really helped me, like having tough conversations with teammates and also just like looking within myself because I'm very open. Like my mental health was so bad in college, like literally just poor, like anxiety, depression. I had all that. But like in learning more about it and how it's so like intertwined into sport, I kind of like learned a little bit more about myself and like gave myself some slack a little bit. Like it's natural to feel this way. It's normal to feel this way. Like look at all these athletes that are feeling this way, and this is why you feel this way because like the way our system is designed and way coaches talk to you, like so it made me feel better about myself, which made me want to bring that to other athletes because I'm like, if I'm feeling this, then I know someone else is. So for me, it wasn't super hard to balance like sports and school because they were so intertwined in like my actual like coursework and stuff. And then also just because I had really great faculty advisors that were so like they understood that like I was coming right from practice and going to like my grad assistantship. So like they were so like lenient with me, like, hey, like it's okay if you're a couple minutes late, if you need to change, whatever. And like my actual advisor, like Dr. Habib, was so nice. She was like, okay, well, let's meet virtually instead of this because you're traveling or you're about to leave and like things like that. Like everyone was just because they're sports psych, they understand like you're an athlete, like it's gonna be difficult. Um, so like balancing it was super easy, but I mean, like really it's just because of the people. That was what made it easy for me to do everything. Like the faculty was amazing. Everyone in my cohort like were willing to help me out with the presentation, look over slides. Like we would always help each other in the little assistant's office, like looking over people's slides, reading people's, parts of their thesis and stuff like that. So it's just the people. I think that's what separates masters from undergrad is like it's more collaborative with the people around you, and they make you want to do stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, nice. And it's nice that you can apply that, especially with being in sports. Like you're able to apply that stuff now. So, moving to Poland, let's talk about kind of how you got out there And then just talk about your time out there. You know, you spoke about
Yeah.
it a little bit before we started recording about kind of being in preseason right now. Talk about last season. You know, you guys had a lot of success that your club hasn't had before. Your adjustment there. I know I talked to you a little bit about it. You know, we still interact on social media and everything, so
Mhm.
on Snapchats. But go ahead and talk about that, how you got there, and then your time out there now.
I was just thinking about how you see all like my private snaps where I'm like, bro, Poland.
Yeah. Especially when you first got there here.
Oh,
But I mean, I can only imagine though. It's definitely like a culture shock moving. Like for me, I moved to Columbus, Ohio, from North Carolina,
mhm,
where I lived my whole life. So like,
mhm,
it's really different. I think one of the things too, one of our good friends, Jay Kelly, um, he talks about it like being from Philly. Like he's from Philly too. He's an all Philly guy,
mhm,
all the Philly teams. Like he talks about a little bit as well, just like just being down south and anybody who's like people up here, like I'll talk to them and they like get to meet me. And some of these people like that I've worked with and stuff, like
mhm,
and Columbus isn't like Philly, but people are
mhm.
like, oh my, like they're so nice and like this and that.
Yeah, it's different.
Oh yeah, it's like totally different. So like I think that's
Mhm.
probably how we got you at ECU too. It's just like Southern hospitality too. It's like
Yes, I was like, whoa, it's real.
like all these people say like thank you and like please and stuff like
Yes,
to speak to you. Like it's something
bro.
different. But I'll let you go ahead and talk about Poland.
First, before I answer about Poland, I have to say, because I know me and Jada have told you this, like you were one of like the first people that was like truly Southern hospitality, like to the core. Because we talk all the time, we're like, Evan is so nice. Like he's just so nice. Like he's really from here, you know? Like this, he is Southern hospitality. Like he is really from here. So I had to say that because that was just like crazy. But yeah, moving to Poland, there are no brown people in the winter. In the summer, sometimes the tourists are brown, so it's like, brown people. But
Yeah,
like other than that, like not really. So that was a big culture shock, especially coming from Philly, like especially where I live in Philly, like Mount Airy was like it's one of the first like fully integrated neighborhoods. So I'm just since I was little, I'm used to seeing just so many different people.
mhm,
So it was just so different coming here. But it's like I was truly like I was talking to one of my roommates about this. I was like, for the first month, like I barely spoke to her. Like she's American, literally went to school in Philly too. Like I barely spoke because I was so overwhelmed by everything. Like imagine me, Kimberly Aaliyah Sanford, the great, never speaking. Like that people were like, she's so quiet. Like when has anyone ever said that about me? But
yeah,
I didn't even exactly. I didn't even know like what questions to ask or what to do because I was just there. Everything was new. Like going to the grocery store, I still didn't even know like you got to pay for your bags. You bag it yourself. Like
mhm,
everything is just different and like it was true culture shock. Like, and Polish people, like, they are very nice. Like, all the girls on the team have been very sweet, but they will stare because they don't see people who look like me. So every time I go somewhere, I do get stares, like hard stares in your face. Don't break eye contact, no blinking, staring.
yeah,
And like that took a little bit to get used to. Um, and then also, I'm trying to think what else was really big for me. Oh, like, when you're home and like you will like walk and like you'll just give like a soft smile to the person next to you and just like keep it pushing.
yeah,
Mm-mm. None
yeah,
of that here. None of that here. And they're really nice people. Like, if you actually talk to them, they will talk back to you, but everyone's like dead face, straight, no words, no smile, nothing.
yeah,
So that was new. But then also, the biggest thing was the language barrier. Because some of the girls on the team do speak English, especially the younger ones, but our head coach doesn't speak English.
mhm,
And on the field, they're speaking Polish. And like my position as a center back, I'm supposed to be communicating with everybody because I'm one of the furthest people. Like I can see everything they can't.
mhm,
So for me, it was really hard, like really hard because I was like, I can't communicate with people around me. But then I also can't ask questions because I can't communicate with people around me. So I can't ask what I don't like. I don't know what I don't know because I don't understand what they're talking.
yeah. How does it work? Like, do you like have you learned some Polish or like do they like do one of your teammates like when the coach is talking, like he
Mhm.
talks and then there's like do you have a translator there or do you have like one of your teammates like he just said this and
A little bit of everything. So
that?
I learned I learned some words to speak on the field. Like I know like left, right, leva, prava, up, back, nije, vijay. and like things like that. Like I know how to say a time is chas, like on your back is plets, but like I, for the most part, will speak English on the field, especially now because we have more Americans. Like it's fine. But the girls, they learned what I was saying basically because I was like, I tried so hard to speak in Polish, but when things happen in the game, it's happening too fast. So like,
Yeah.
it's gonna come out in English, especially something where I'm saying like, take a step to your right. Like I don't know how to say that in Polish, or like turn on your right shoulder. Like I don't know how to say that in Polish.
Right.
So like, I started speaking English, and that's pretty normal. Like the men, I know, like to help us learn, the president would bring us into the club office and like there are these mic'd up versions of like the men's games and they have subtitles. So, but we found that a lot of them are in English already because some of the men's players are English speaking and like some of the captains are English speaking. So they're speaking English. So when I heard that, I was like, all right, they're speaking English. I'm speaking English too. Like, screw it. We're all learning English.
Yeah.
Um, but a lot of the girls like know more English than they let on because they're just not confident in speaking it.
Mhm.
Which I understand because I'm not confident in speaking Polish either. When I have to say something in Polish, I get so scared.
Right.
But for like every day in practice, like our team manager speaks pretty good English, and so she'll translate for us. Our assistant coach speaks English, so he'll translate. And then last year, like our motor coach also spoke English, so like he would translate everything for us. But some of the girls, like during film and stuff, like if one of them's not available, like one of the girls, that's my girl, Olivia Gadowska. We call her Gadua. I don't know what her last name is.
Yeah.
But she will translate for us. She's hilarious. She's literally like our angel because if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't know like half the things that I need to know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's but like everyone's like willing to help out, but also like when I first got here, they weren't like when I first got back here, like they weren't translating anything for me because I was like, I already know what he's saying. Like I
Mhm.
know what drills we're doing. I understand because you pick things up. Like
Yeah.
I might not be able to repeat what he's saying, but I understand like what he means. Like, okay, we're doing this kind of drill, or we're doing this kind of drill, or we're shooting or passing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, you pick it up, but like now, am I speaking Polish? Am I fluent? No,
Yeah.
absolutely not. But I can understand a lot more than when I first got here. Like
Right.
the girls will be speaking, and I'm like, okay, this is what you're saying.
Yeah.
So, it's gotten better, but the language barrier was the one of the biggest things that made transition hard. And like it was one of the things that like I know I would tell my mom a lot. Like it just like moving to a different country where you don't know anybody and don't speak the language like is like you don't understand what it means to be lonely and like just like truly alone and by yourself until you do that because it's like I was surrounded by my team and they were so sweet and so nice, but if you can't communicate with the people around you, you could be surrounded by a million people and you're still going to be alone. So it was really hard, like the first couple months, like because I didn't know. And then I ended up like we have a rugby team here, and like one of like my really good friends now, like is South African on the rugby team, and he saw me like sitting one day like outside of practice because we used to practice at the same place, and he was like, you're not from here. He's like, where are you from? And I was like, America. He's like, you speak English. And I was like, yes. He goes, okay, we're gonna be friends. And like it
Yeah.
was just that fast. Felt like we were back in like, in kindergarten when someone comes up to you like, do you want to be friends? But
Yeah.
like that's what like you have to do here when you see someone like who you think might speak English, you because they're feeling the same thing that you were feeling when you first got here. So I became really good friends with him and then really good friends with his friends. So now it's a lot better because it's like I have like people here around me that are going through the same thing. But when I first got here, it was just like I was just sad all the time. Like I would just put on my story. I'd just be like, I'm really sad because you don't know anybody.
Yeah.
Um, and I remember when I came home in the winter, I told my mom like I know I like broke down right before I came back here. I was like, I don't want to go back. Like I can't do it. And then when I came back, it ended up being like 10,000 times better because I already had a handle on everything. Like I knew what to expect at practice. I had friends that I could hang out with outside of practice. I was finally talking to my roommate, and things got a lot better. And I decided to stay. And now, like since I've been back, things have been great. Like talking to my friends here again. Like it's just it came together, but it really sucked when I first got here, like to be perfectly honest. And I wish someone would have told me before I got here, like how much I was gonna hate it when I first got here, and not because of like anything that's going on here, not because of the club or anything, but just because literally everything is new. You have to relearn how to do everything.
Right. Yeah. No, for sure. And like when you're adjusted somewhere, like once you like kind of get a handle on things, like okay, I got it. Like the basic
Yes.
things. It's like okay, stuff
Mhm.
becomes easier. That's kind of how it was when I moved to Columbus.
Mhm.
It's like all right, like I kind of know my way around. I know a couple
Mhm.
people here and there. So yeah, have you have you been out? How is the nightlife in Poland? Do you not go out? How's the nightlife out there? You know, I gotta ask about it.
First of all, you know I'm not a big like goer outer in
Yeah,
general.
yeah,
Like I'm not. Maybe in college, college Kim was different, but like
yeah.
now this Kim, I don't know. We've gone. I don't know. My friends say I'm kind of like boring and like a homebody, so like maybe I'm not the best person to be asking this.
Yeah.
But we've gone out one time with the. I've gone out one time with the team, and it was quite fun. It was a good
Was
time. It was actually twice. It was fun. It was a good time.
yeah.
But it's just like
The
it's very
music
much like the music. You gotta dance like this, you know. It's just very much
do they play like
yeah.
American music or like is it
You'll get some American songs, but they'll be like remixes of everything.
really
So
in like Polish? Oh my
no,
god.
no. But like the like dubs and wubs remixes, like
Yeah,
dub
yeah, yeah.
wub, wub.
Yeah. Yeah, so a lot of that. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm always curious. Demetria used to be like, "You got to come out to Serbia." I always just like you said, like in Europe, like so we had like foreign exchange students, and they were like from Australia. So it's like, okay, that's kind of like it's not like
yeah.
America, but it's similar.
Mhm,
But like I remember in high school, like we at my senior year, I went to this private school, and like we had exchange students
mhm.
in China and stuff, and like you know, like you said, like this literally might be the first time they see like a person of color. Like they're like they
Mhm.
like our basketball team, like to them, like we was like, oh, they see like LeBron James and stuff. Like it's like, oh my god, like dunking. It's like, oh my god, like you know,
Yeah,
it's like this person is like the greatest person ever, and it's awesome. Like you appreciate the love, but also like I feel like you know you said sometimes like I feel like if I've never visited like a country like that, the only time I've been out of
mhm.
the country is the Bahamas. So like I've never been to a country like that, but also like I can imagine like people staring like, oh my god, like you know what I mean, like.
Bro. Like my favorite is when like we'll be like today we were standing at like the tram stop, and there was this woman and she's pushing her little baby, and the baby is breaking its neck in the stroller, like
Yeah, like yeah, like
because it's like first of all, you only been alive for about 2 days. You're a little fetus walking around, and now like you're seeing brown people. It's probably like whoa, crazy,
yeah,
crazy, crazy.
yeah, no, for sure. Oh, I wanted
It's
to ask you though about like the on-field success. So you guys going to the Poland Cup? Did I say it right? Is it Polish or Poland?
Polish Cup, yeah.
Polish Cup. Not coming home with the victory, but going far as the club's never been. So how was it? How was your season? Like I said, I went to y'all's website. It's in Polish.
It's in Polish.
I'm an American, I'm an American citizen that only speaks one language. Unfortunately, I'm not bilingual. I wish I was, but like I'm not. So like I can't really. So how was your season? Were y'all like always, was it a great one? Like like obviously you guys had a lot of success, but were there ups
Yeah.
and downs? Like how was that? Talk about that a little bit.
The season was really, really rough. We started off playing a new formation, so we're playing three in the back, which is a little risky already, and it takes a lot of like creativity to kind of learn how it flows because it's just different, than a traditional, four in their back line. So we started off with the season like just lost like straight 6 games, like L's, 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 L's.
Right.
So that was great for the confidence. I was like, well, I should quit. Like, first season as a professional soccer player.
Yeah.
L L L L L. I'm like, all right, pack it up. Let's go back to America.
Yeah.
But then after I like chilled out a little bit, like our biggest problem was like we weren't scoring at the time. Like our defense was doing a pretty good job of like holding people off
Mhm.
60, 70 minutes, and then they pop one in and we're not reciprocating, so we would lose like 1-0, 2-1, like things like that. So we
Mhm.
weren't getting blown out, which was even more frustrating because then it's like, okay, we're in these games, like um so that was rough. And then after like we had our first Polish Cup game, so like for the Polish Cup, it's like any professional team in Poland is in this cup, and it's kind of like March Madness style, like
Right.
you
Right.
play, you move on, like things like that. So the first team we play, like I scored my first professional goal, and I was like, "Whoa, I just scored! Like this is crazy."
What was the
Um,
celebration? What was the celebration?
it wasn't really that much of a celebration because we ended up winning 12-0, so it wasn't like a real like but like after or 12-1, I'm sorry, we did have an own goal. Wasn't my fault, but we did have
Yeah,
an own goal.
yeah, gotta throw that out.
But it wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Yeah,
But yeah, but like after that, we kind of started picking up steam. So then we were like winning, tying. So we went on like a unbeaten streak after that. But we kind of had dug ourselves into a hole in the table. Like we're bottom half of the table now. because you just can't lose like 6, 7 games in a row. You just can't do that. And then when we come back, we had our preseason for like a month and a half, and then we start the season, and we're kind of picking up where we left off. Like, we lost our first game, then we were winning the next one, tying the next one, winning, tying, winning, tying. We had some unfortunates happen there, but we never were down for more than like a game, and then we like rebounded and like right back. So
Right.
the second half of the season was much better, but we already dug ourselves into that hole. So the best we could finish is like seventh, eighth.
Mm-hmm.
Not great, but considering that we weren't ever like fearing for relegation of going like to the next league down, like I was like, all right, I'll take it, I'll take it. And then Polish Cup, we keep getting really good draws. We hadn't drew anyone in the first league, um, but still, like you have to show up every game, like because second league teams are beating the top league teams in the Polish Cup, so like you have to make sure like you're performing. But I think we went the whole Polish Cup up until the final, only letting in like one goal, and that was the own goal. So I was like, all right, we're doing pretty well. And so then the semifinal, we play a team in our league, Krakow, who like had come out strong against us at the time we played. We battled from being down a goal both times. I did score the goal that tied it up.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
know,
yeah. So
we know.
gotta throw that out there. Gotta throw it out
Big
there.
dog Kim, big dog Kim, put team on her back. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. The girl who played me the ball is like the most beautiful ball. Like the most beautiful pass she gave me. It was really easy for me to score, but
Yeah.
still had scored. But
Yeah.
anyways,
Still gotta put it over. Still gotta put it over.
but then Polish Cup final came. We were at that point in the season, like it was our like schedule for games was really unfortunate. Like we went like the last two, almost like 3 months, so almost that whole round of the season playing like 2, 3 games a week, which is crazy on the body. Like especially with the travel because like Poland's not huge, but we're at the top of Poland, so we have to travel far to get to pretty much everywhere. Like we're not close to a lot of places, so like we're going away like 5, 6 hour bus rides home for a day, back to another 5, 6 hour bus ride. So it was rough. And then we have like some devastating injuries. Literally everyone on starting back line except for me is hurt and out. Our starting midfielder hurt out. Some of our strikers are like 50, 60%, not 100%. So by the time we got to the final, we're playing against like the best players in Poland, literally like national team players in Poland, and we just couldn't pull it out. Like we were just outmatched. It wasn't our day, but to even get to that point, like as a club, was absolutely like crazy. And I feel like it's something that I didn't really necessarily like appreciate in the moment because I don't have history in Poland. Like I don't know how big everything is. Like the girls were getting so excited because like we've had multiple of our games like broadcasted like on the national television, but like for me, I'm just like, yeah, okay. Because I don't know, like, you know what I mean? Like, if like you take me and go to America, and like this game's gonna be on ESPN, like the ESPN, I'm gonna take it serious. I'm gonna be like, yeah, this is great. But you
Yeah.
tell me that here in Poland, like, I don't know what that means. I'm like, okay, cool. We're gonna be on TV Polska Sport. Like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But like, and like just the history of the Polish Cup, I don't think I appreciated. Like this is really a tournament with a lot. Like this has been going on since like the beginning. Like this is major. This is huge. Like this is a big deal. Um, and I don't think that's something I necessarily appreciated in the moment, but probably for the best because I think I would have psyched myself out a little bit. But it's like because like my mom was telling me she's like that's like the equivalent of like the FA Cup in England, like that's the Polish Cup in for Poland. So like you don't think about that kind of thing because you're not from here. Um, but yeah, just to be a part of that was crazy, and it opened so many doors for us for this year. Like now we're playing like 6 games this year, like in the major stadium in Poland, like the one the men play in, and we have a locker room there, like right next to the men's locker room, and we get to use the gym in there and the like physio in there, and so like it opened so many doors for us because just getting to that level shows, hey, like this is a team that we need to like pay attention to, and like now we play like 6 games in there, but then like the rest of our games on like their other field, so it's just like it's opening a lot of doors for women's soccer, and like I wish I would have appreciated like how monumental that moment could be because like the club like there has been no women's soccer game ever played at that stadium and we're about to do it like that's absolutely insane. Like I literally just got chills thinking about it. Like
Yeah. That's history. You
to
can.
be like the first is wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, so like I mean, it's better things. Like I really appreciate like how this club invests in their players. Like they really want us to be the best, and they offer things that like yeah should be common for every women's soccer team, but at the end of the day, they aren't. Like we have access to a trainer. We get massages after training if we want. We have a stadium that's like, or we have a locker room in a stadium that's gorgeous. Like we have so many things that so many other clubs don't have, and they're only adding more to it. Like the fact that we have a team manager and we had a motor sport coach, like we had a motor coach, and like things like that, like that even some of the best teams in Poland don't have, and we have it. Like it just shows like, you know, we're really moving in the right direction. And I know we will be better in league at least than we were last season. I just feel that with the like players that we've added so far and like what I'm seeing at practice, I know it's going to get better.
Yeah.
So it's exciting. It's exciting time for women's soccer in Poland. You know, I know everyone's like, what's going on in women's soccer in Poland? Well, now you know.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. Well, shout out to the Kim Sanford keeping us updated on that. We'll be following, we'll be watching and supporting you. To talk about more about kind of the women's soccer, World Cup going on. Soccer's buzzing right now. World Cup's going on. You got USA against the Netherlands in about an hour and 20 minutes. That's gonna be a big game. Messi's ripping it up in America. I was watching Man City's. Man City had the friendly today. Those soccer. It's always trips me out. I swear, like soccer, everybody's like, oh, like Jack Grealish or somebody's like on Instagram, like, oh, it's holiday. And then like 2 weeks later, they're back at practice. I'm like, what type of holiday is this? They don't get any break. I swear, I was just watching the
No
Champions League final.
break.
I swear, it was like they get like 3 weeks off, if that.
Because
If that.
okay, so think about this. The Champions League final was the same day as my Polish Cup final, and I'm already back in preseason.
Yeah. Yeah, no. So it's crazy. Y'all get like no. I don't know how. I mean, I guess like one game a week, or it depends on where you're playing. But yeah, that is crazy. One thing about soccer. But Kim, go ahead and talk about that Women's World Cup. Give your analysis on that.
You want my takes? You
Yeah,
want my
go ahead and get
takes?
it. Bring the takes out, Kim. She's been waiting to come on the pod and give out some soccer takes. Go ahead. You
I
can
have
go
been waiting.
past.
I've been patiently waiting by my phone, just waiting to get the text.
Okay, go ahead. The floor is yours. The floor is yours.
All right, listen. Women's soccer, let's start with the US. We're going to win it all. Okay, we're going to win it all. But let's not act like we have not been severely crippled by some injuries to Becky, Mal, someone else is injured. I feel like Rose Lavelle's coming back from injury. Julie Ertz is coming back. You know, Megan Rapinoe, I think she was injured as well. So, but Rose Lavelle, I'm pretty sure is getting the start tonight, as she should, my queen. Um, but yeah, so Julie Ertz, I think, will be our starter on the back line to replace Becky. And everyone was acting like, oh, Julie, like she's so good on the back line. She was a center back before she moved to the midfield. So let's everyone relax. She was a center back when she broke in, when she was Julie Johnson, before Zach. Okay.
Mhm.
So let's remember that. So
Yeah.
and I like her and Germa together. I think Germa can play with anyone. I think that's part of what makes her so good.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I think when we played Vietnam, it was not good. We looked a little bit sloppy. We won because we're the US and we're more talented than Vietnam. Like, no hate to Vietnam, but like, we're the
Yeah.
best in the world for a reason. But that kind of stuff is not going to slide against the Netherlands. Okay, they're very good. They have a very strong midfielder. I forget, I don't know how to pronounce her name, but she's one of the best in the world. So we need to be on our A game for sure. So by the time all my fans are seeing this, I don't know what's gonna happen in this game. I think we're gonna win. I think we're gonna pull it out because we're gritty. When we get like honestly, the US gets lucky sometimes, but I think it's because we're very good. So naturally we're gonna get lucky.
Right.
But I think we're gonna win. But I think it's gonna be difficult. But yeah, I don't know. But the World Cup in general, there's some good teams.
Spain's
There's
really.
some good teams. Canada played Ireland today. Wasn't a great game. I watched that one.
Yeah.
Canada pulled it out, but they
She
got
won, right?
some. They got to work on it. They got to get that together. Ireland ended their tournament today. I'm sorry, they're going home.
Yeah.
Hate to see that.
Yeah.
But Brazil looked good. We got to watch out.
Yeah.
Brazil looked very good because Brazil's always good. They've got passion, they play with flair, which I love. They just have fun.
Mhm.
But what Brazil was lacking, I think, before was like discipline and like cohesiveness defensively as a unit. Pia, who's like their coach now, she used to be the US coach and Sweden, I believe. She got them together because they're still playing with that flair, but they're like tight defensively, like pressing, like swarming. To be
Yeah.
fair, they were playing. I forget who they were playing, but it was a team that they should have. They were supposed to win against, but at the same time, like they look good. Miss Girl Ari had a hat trick. She's in the NWSL at Racing Louisville. I'm trying to think who else I watched. Germany.
Spain's good too. Yeah, they're really
Pop up top. Oh,
yeah,
she's a tower of power.
yeah, and
They're
Putella's
good. But they looked a little sloppy sometimes. But
yeah, but
she back. She back.
she hadn't even really been playing really. Like she's come back from injury, so she hadn't really been playing. So
She just coming back from injury.
yeah, if you had to predict, she's so
She
good,
back. And we gotta watch out for who?
huh?
Who's good? Who's good?
Alexia Putellas.
Oh yeah. I
She
don't
won
know why I
the
thought I
golden
heard you
ball.
say a
She
different
won the
name. I
golden
wanted to see what you were
ball.
saying. No, she's good. She's very
Yeah,
good.
yeah, 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 yeah. But
I agree. But we gotta watch out for Jamaica.
oh yeah, no, they're good.
They just tied France.
Is that is
They
that
tied France.
is that who Jada played for nationally? Did she play for them or the Bahamas?
hmm
Was it Jamaica?
Jamaica.
Really?
hmm
Wow. Yeah,
hmm
they played well. They
hmm
played well. So if you
They
had to
were very like left their left back did really good. I think Blackwood,
yeah, yeah,
she was
some
shutting
good.
down.
Who if you had to pick a final right now, who would you pick in the final?
US, obviously.
Two.
If I had to pick a final, I don't know how all the groups stack up against each other, so this could like just probably not happen.
Mhm.
But
Or top two teams in the tournament right now.
top two teams, I feel like I have to say the US just because I'm gonna hold down for my girls,
Yeah.
out here in Poland, gotta hold it down for my girls. Um, oh my God. Oh, that's hard. I just think Germany was just like they're just efficient. Like the way they're moving the ball, doing like they look a little sloppy a little bit, but we're early in the tournament. We're still in group stages.
hmm
So I think as they progress in the tournament, they're gonna be dangerous. It's just Pop is just the way she just finds the ball and finds the back of the net is you can't teach that. Like that's instinct that you cannot teach.
Right.
So I think we gotta watch out for US and Germany.
Yeah. Okay.
And also Australia, I don't know if Sam Kerr is not hurt. Like she was gonna be my golden boot winner, but she got hurt. I don't know when she's coming back.
Okay. All right.
So
Now, so we got that. We got your women's takes. Go ahead and give us the men's season friendly starting up. Go ahead and give me something for the men's. Because you wanted. You spoke to me before we started recording about the men's World Cup. We didn't talk about it. I thought, I was extremely happy. Me being me. You first of all, are you a Cristiano or are you a Messi? Cristiano or Messi? Ronaldo or Messi? You got a 10 around your neck. So,
okay, because that's my number. But I hate this question because I think they're so different. They play so different. They play different positions. Can you even really compare? It's like comparing a left back to like a right winger. Like how? I mean, that's actually not a hard comparison. A left back to a holding mid will do. But like I grew up watching Ronaldo, so I think I'm a Ronaldo girl.
but how do you watch? How could you watch Ronaldo without watching Messi? They were both in La Liga.
Now I still watched Messi, but like it was just like Ronaldo because I saw Ronaldo when he was at Man United. Like that's when I started watching him because I was watching more Premier League. So I wasn't really like introduced to Messi until a little bit later because I'm seeing Ronaldo like cutting them up in England. Him and Sir Alex Ferguson together. So that's where I really got to know him because I was a Chelsea fan. So like, and I'm still a Chelsea fan, and we had a rough year, and I don't want to talk about
Oh,
it.
brutal year! A brutal year! Oh my goodness! Yeah, a brutal
It's
year. You
so
guys
hard
almost
being a Chelsea fan, an Eagles
got
fan, and
relegated.
a Sixers fan. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Chelsea, that was hard.
yeah,
That was hard.
That was a rough
But
year.
we're coming back. We're winning off. We're winning it this year.
I don't know about all that. But you guys, I mean, I like Sterling. I like you guys got Sterling. I'm a fan of his. He just has to be more consistent this year. Like, I mean, well, he has to be more. Last year, he wasn't even like. He has to be like back to his form when he was in Man City or something. Like, he was not. I mean, nobody on the team was good last year. Really, nobody. Like, the leading goal scorer had 8 goals, and they shipped him off to Arsenal. Like, he like, yeah. So, but
I have no
I mean,
comment. I really think
yeah,
we got rid of Christian. We got rid of the Golden Boy, the American. He's out of here.
yeah. I mean, he wasn't playing, so I mean,
I mean, we weren't the team from him. He needed somewhere where he could fit into the system. And
yeah. But I will say, obviously everyone knows I'm a Messi guy for sure. But I like Ronaldo though. I do respect Ronaldo. Like I'm not one of those Messi fans that hates Ronaldo. I think he's amazing. I just don't think he's as good as Messi.
I just think you feel like you have to do the opposite of whatever I'd say.
See, no, it's not even that though, because like I'm a Cristiano. Like I'll watch Cristiano. I love listening to his interviews. I love like some of the mentality he displays, and we'll talk about that a little bit because I think American basketball players and stuff. Like for me, I like it helped my basketball game, and it helped me as a player too, just to study guys like that, especially like being a point guard, like Messi. Like it was watching stuff like that really helps. And also, we'll talk about this a little bit because I know you're not like you know huge into this, even though we try to get you, even especially at ECU, we try to get you more. But like even like social media branding and stuff like that, I think American players should take from soccer player, European soccer stars, and like how they brand themselves on social media. Like you don't have to put a target on yourself, like oh we just destroy them or anything like that. And like I know that in like sports, we don't have like in especially in American basketball, we don't have like +3 or whatever or a draw, but like just like kind of how like I know this might be a touchy subject for like a Philly person, but like when Ben Simmons had it going, like you get all those photos, like, but every day, like every game was like on to the next one or like posting a photo. Like for me, like I like Messi, like how Messi went about it. Like for me, any photo that I have from ECU basketball, it's probably on my Instagram, like no caption or whatever. Like you don't have to put this big target on your back. But Ben Simmons' comment really has a stroke. But okay, maybe not like.
You would have to say that.
Yeah. Well, he's like he's a good social media marketer. He is. Or like I'm trying to think of who else like in like Philly sport, like Jalen Hurts after games, like posting like that stuff like helps you grow your brand and stuff like that. So I think a lot of American players should like take that mindset and like people are like, oh, I don't really care about. So I mean, you don't have to. Like some people don't have like, but I think soccer players like the way they kind of grow their brand. I mean, obviously, it's not basketball is a global game, not as global as soccer, but it's still like second or it's right up there. So like Luka Doncic, like always like being engaging and stuff like that helps it grow. But to that, go ahead and give some men's takes. What do you think about this upcoming season?
Well, I'm a Premier League girl. I'm watching all the games. But I think, not biased or anything, Chelsea's going to the top. We're going to the top. Don't worry about us. We be at the top. We watching everybody else. But
she says she's not gonna be biased, and then has a team that was on the realm of relegation winning the Premier League.
Relax. We were closer to relegation than the top of the table, but we were never getting relegated.
Okay, yeah, but you guys aren't in Champions League this year.
It's okay, this where we gotta focus on ourselves.
Yeah, but
we keep focusing on everybody else in Europe.
So you think you guys can? You think they'll be better than Man City, who has everybody coming back? And Arsenal.
That's not important.
And Arsenal.
That's not important.
I'll say this. I think you guys will get to, and Newcastle, who can literally buy whatever player they want in the world right now. I mean, they can. It's the truth. I think I think you guys. Well, I will say I think you guys will qualify for Champions League. I think you guys will be in.
I think we'll qualify for Champions League. I think. All right, let me rephrase. I think we'll be top six. I think it's gonna be Man City again. I think Man United will be closer. I think Man United's gonna have a year. I do. I like the mindset of the players. I am interested to see because Harry Maguire just lost the captaincy, I believe, to Bruno Fernandez.
Mhm.
So like let's see how that pans out. But like Harry Maguire wasn't really doing all that much and he didn't
Yeah.
play in some games. So I think it was about time that he lost that. But I mean still if
Bruno's
that
playing
changes
so good right now too. He's playing so good. He's a good.
exactly. So I think it makes sense.
Yeah, he's probably. He was Portugal's best player. Like no disrespect to Ronaldo, he was Portugal's best player in the
But
world.
yeah.
He was
And I
like
think, yeah, it makes total sense that he would be the captain. When they announced it, I was like, yeah, okay, about time. But
yeah,
Man City, I think, is going to be Man City. Like, they're incredible. Like, I mean, I like John Stones. I just like how versatile he is as a center back. Because I think as center backs, like, we get put in a box, like, okay, you're athletic, but like, you don't have to be technical, you don't have to be smart, anything like that. When it's the total opposite, like you have to play the game, like you have to play the game in your head like 5 steps before everybody else because you have to tell everybody where to go. But then also like you start the attack, like you have to be able to like almost be like 1v1 against some of the best strikers in the world, especially in the Premier League, and like think fast and like make those little passes that are going to open up lanes for other people. And I feel like he really encompasses that and really shows that. And like that's big for me. And he can move into the midfield, which is like he's like I have never seen a center back so seamlessly move into the midfield and just like be so on with it than like how he did. And like I wish I could do that because my coach puts me in the midfield. I look like a chicken with my head cut off. I'm like, put me back on the back line where everything's in front of me. I don't have to worry about what's behind me. But I think Man City gonna be Man City, whatever. And they have Erling, who's like a literal robot and just puts goals in. I don't understand how he's always in the right spot. Like
he's a
I
cheat
don't get
code.
it, but
He's a
whatever.
walk. He is.
They're just I'm upset thinking about them.
He's a cheat code.
Yeah, they're gonna be good. Like whatever.
Arsenal should be good. I mean,
He's
Liverpool ups back. I like Saka so much. I'm a fan of his. I'm a fan. I felt so bad after the well no, it was the Euro was it the Euros when he missed the penalty?
yes,
Yeah.
yes, because him and Rashford missed or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I felt bad
Yeah.
too.
Oh, he's so adorable. I was following him on TikTok. Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
because they were getting it. Oh my God, they were getting it so bad.
So bad. So bad. So it was good to see him bounce back last season. I think they'll be good again.
So
And I mean like I like Mo Salah. Like he's a good player in Liverpool. Like I don't have a team, so I don't have a team out there. I don't know. Like I need to pick a team
why not?
because like
Come on to Chelsea.
I don't know. I don't know. So what I want to do, this is what I want to do, Kim. I want to go to a game, like I want to go like take a vacation to England and then like visit
Mhm,
like a official visit, like and whichever
mhm,
one, and then pick a team from there. Cause like I don't know, like growing up, you watch the Premier League and like Ronaldo was crushing it,
mhm,
but like I like for me like I like Ronaldo a lot, but like also Messi. Like I'm not like 6'5", like or 6'4", or like 6'3". Like I'm 6'1", 6'2". So like
mhm,
Messi, like he's a little
mhm,
small. Like I'm not like extremely athletic, a little bit quicker. So like I
mhm,
enjoy like watching Messi and then just watching Premier League. So Ronaldo was crushing it. So I was like, oh man, U's like they're a pretty cool team. And then like obviously like Drogba and Chelsea. So like I didn't know.
that's my guy.
Yeah,
That's my guy.
I
Drogba is what got me to Chelsea. Like that is my man.
he popped up on my explore page the other day. It was like a video of him and like some more of his like African guys who were on Chelsea. And like this one
Mhm,
guy like was like they were talking about like how good his English is, and they were like doing an
mhm,
interview like, and they were like trying to talk English to the guy. He was just, like he didn't really know it that well, and he was so nervous. And Drogba was like holding him like no no no. They were like joking about it, but it was funny.
mhm.
It was funny. But one last question I
Come
have
to
for
Chelsea,
you.
Evan. We'll take you. We'll take you. Come
I
on.
gotta see. I gotta see who I want. Like I enjoy. I gotta. Oh, I do. I do. You know, I
There's
got two
nothing
more,
to see.
I got two more questions for you though. I got two more. The first
Oh,
one, kind of just like, do you ever see yourself coaching one day? I know you have the sports psychology masters. I know you want to go into that. Kind of where do you see yourself like when you're done playing? Kind of what would be your plans for that? One, that's the first question. And then the second one, I would be remiss without asking you. Unfortunately, I have to ask you. A great season for your Eagles last year, going to the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts looks like a superstar. What do you think about the Eagles' upcoming season? Go ahead and take off on those two questions.
all right. I'll be serious first. um, what is? See, everyone asks me this, like, would you coach? Because I've had some offers to be like, come coach now, basically.
Mhm.
And I don't think I would be a good coach. Just knowing how I interact with my teammates, I get so frustrated when they don't do exactly what I say to do when I say to do it. And as a coach, like you need patience. And I know I don't have that. As a player, I don't have that. And it's like good that I don't have that as a player because on the field I can be like, come on, let's go. But as a coach, you gotta chill and like let players learn. And I get so frustrated. I can't. I
But
try to
that's
help my nephew. I'm like, I try to help my nephew. I'm like, why are you not getting it? Like, get it. I don't understand why you're not getting it. Why are you not shooting with your laces? Come on. Like, what are we doing?
so.
So I
But
feel like no.
you've been learning that in sports psychology. You've been learning. You're supposed to have the patience in sports psychology. If you're gonna be a therapist one day, you're supposed to have the patience. You're supposed to be. You said you learned from coach at ECU. Like, okay, I got to learn how to balance this.
No. The thing is, I did learn a lot, but like I can only apply it in certain settings. I can apply it as a player talking to someone. I cannot apply it as a coach. As a coach, I'm like, you're an idiot. Get off my field. You're stupid. You're cut. You're done. As a player, I'm like, okay, I see the idea. I see the idea, but like do what I say next time and stop thinking on your own. But like you can't do that as a coach. As a coach, like you gotta be more like willing to develop players. And I'm not. I can't do that. I'm like, come on, get better. What do you mean you're not better already? Come on. So yeah, as a coach, no. I don't think anyone would want me as a coach. I mean, the people who say they do now, I'm like, it's because you don't know me.
Yeah,
But
we'll see. We'll see.
I
I
think
think you're not getting
yeah,
yourself
I'm gonna get my PhD. I'm gonna get my PhD, and I'm gonna be good in the sports psych. Like I really want to be like a sports psychology like director, maybe of like a university or a professional team, and just like get that mental performance up. Because like I always say this whenever I do presentations and stuff. I'm like, as athletes, like we will train ourselves into the ground, like physically. Like we will do anything and everything it takes to be the best physically, but like in order to do that, you have to be the best mentally, and everyone kind of like forgets about that. So I feel like athletes like who don't train mentally are only at like 60-70% of whatever they could be. So I know for me, like there was one season like going into ECU where like I think it was going into my junior year, I was just like, I'm actually good at the sport. Like I'm good at this and I can do this. Cause I was like really scared because I was going through like a potential position change. So I was like, screw it. Like I'm gonna just go out there. I'm gonna do me. I'm gonna have a good time. Like ain't no reason to stress. And I did not prepare any differently physically than I did years prior, where I didn't come in the best. And I come in and I was amazing. I was like my first touch was good. Like my shooting was good. My passing was good. Everything was good. It was like the year it finally clicked for me. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna just do me. And like just having that different mindset elevated me. So like if I can like bring that to other players and like help them reach their potential, like in that way, I can coach them in that way for sure. Because I get that. But like on the field, sometimes I'm like, why are you not seeing what I'm seeing? Like the girl is right in front of you. Stop passing to her. Like I don't understand. Like that I don't understand. But like the more abstract things, I I get. I can help you through that. But like when things are right in front of you, I'm like, stop doing that thing. That's stupid. Like it's not working. I'd have no patience. So Kim will not be on the sidelines coaching.
We'll see.
But to
Um,
answer your second question, Eagles are going all the way. You heard it here first. You heard it here first. Kimberly Sanford said it at well, it's not well for me, July 7th, the 27th. No, the 7th of July. No,
27.
7/27, July
27.
27th at 2 a.m. Eagles are going all the way. Fly, Eagles, fly. Okay, we're going back to the Super Bowl. We're winning it. I can't actually even watch the games. So the games are too late for me to watch. I have to get up at like 4 a.m. to watch them. I do that for the Sixers, though. I do get up at like 3, 4 a.m. to watch the Sixers play. But we're going back. We're going all the way. All the Philly teams this year are winning everything.
All right.
You don't agree? Or
No, I don't agree.
you're just being quiet, so I'm like, you're not agreeing.
No, I don't agree. But you're the guest on the show.
Because you're a hater. You're a hater. You're a hater.
No, I'm not a hater. I just for a team to go back to back to Super Bowls is really hard to do. I'm not even going to speak about what my team's part could play in derailing that, but
Y'all are not even getting there, my guy. Like, you're not even getting close. You haven't been, and that's okay. That's okay. Know your role. That's okay.
we would have played y'all. We would have played y'all last year in the conference championship if my quarterback.
You're there to add fuel to our fire.
Okay. Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Like, okay.
We'll see.
Okay, Evan. As your friend says, what's his name? What's his name? I think it's Ian. I don't really know him like that. But as he would say, it's the Philly way. It's the Philly way.
Okay.
Philly way. We're gonna make it all the way.
Mm-hmm. All right, whatever. I'm just gonna let you have. I don't feel like going back and forth.
Because I'm right. Yeah, that's what it is.
We'll see.
They always say that when they know you're right. Yeah.
We'll see. I will say, just talk about, you talk about a guy, the friend that you can remember, Ian. Just for Ian, John, Jaden, and myself, give the pod a little bit of insight in our relationship with you. And if you want to do that. And then I always like to ask for the younger generation, or the series though, for the younger generation, what advice would you give to the younger generation? Those are my last two questions for you.
All right. First question. Insight on our relationship. My little brothers, each and every one of them. No, for real. I don't think I actually started like talking to you, Evan, like being friends with you until like my sophomore year though. Because I feel like I met you that one night at the pool when you came with Dimitri.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes. And then Ian was random because he was always with you, but I didn't really know him. But I would see him every single day at the same time because whenever his classes were, I think it was in like Ward or something, like every single time. And I would always see this man because I just found out he lived in Gateway. I just thought he was just one of the people that was always around, and I just never knew him. But like I was like, this man looks so familiar. And then I think one night you maybe brought him to something or something like that. But I still wasn't talking to this man when I would see him because I'm like, I don't really know him like that. And then he came up to me and he was like, so you're not gonna say nothing. And I was like, dang, that's crazy because I wasn't gonna say anything.
That's such an Ian comment.
Yeah. And then after that, I just started hanging out with y'all like all the time. We just be like, all right, we're going to Jada's or whatever.
Yeah.
And then y'all moved into what, like the Procs or something?
Yeah.
Like that? And I was always over there with one of y'all or something. And then COVID too, with Ian, with COVID, we were both in Greenville. So we were always together because there ain't nothing else to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, then we all became friends. And I realized I was like, I really am the glue that holds y'all together, you know?
My God.
Like y'all really wouldn't be anything if it wasn't for me. Like I elevated the group so much. Like y'all were just like kind of existing, and then you met me, and then it was like, whoa, like you found purpose, you know?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Our little sister. Yeah. Our little sister. Her take care of everything. Yeah, definitely.
Lies. That's crazy because I'm actually your big sister and we both know it. We both know I'm your role model. Okay. And you
Oh,
can admit that for the people. You can admit that to the people.
oh my goodness. Paul, this is ridiculous talk here. Give the people some motivation. Give the people some motivation. We're moving on. What would be the motivation to younger generations, same generations? Give out some motivations before I kick
Um
before we go on the BB.
he's just acting big now, guys. You know, he tells me all the time, like, I'm the new meaning for his life. Like he lives, to try to emulate me. And I get that. I get that for real. But anyways, to motivate everybody else, because I'm already Evan's motivation, but to motivate everybody else, um, I would say your blessings come in things that you wish hadn't happened. So there's so many times like at ECU that I'm like looking back now, I'm like, I wish something would have happened differently. I wish I wouldn't have had to go through that or experience that loss. But it taught me so much. And like at the end of the day, like, that's something I'm gonna take with me forever. And I know I've grown from it, but like I said, like I wish it wouldn't have happened. But that's the thing, like you're never gonna put yourself in those kinds of uncomfortable in certain uncomfortable positions. You're never gonna put yourself in. Life has to put you in it for you to learn something. Because and sometimes it's like no smart person is going to send themselves to Poland, okay, on their own, not knowing anybody, not knowing the language. But I put myself in a position to just let somebody else do it for me, and I just got put here. And I'm so thankful that I did. But sometimes I wish I would have taken a little bit more control over the situation, and maybe I should have gone somewhere different. But that wasn't in the cards for me. So yeah, your blessings come in things that you wish hadn't happened. Yeah, deep, huh?
That's a good one, Kim. That's some wisdom there.
Mm-hmm.
Wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
Wisest
I
thing
know.
you said probably in the
I
past
know.
15
You're
minutes.
probably like, whoa, I should get that tattooed on me.
Yeah. Yeah. Since you started talking about the Eagles.
I'm lying. Are you kidding? Evan, you gotta get that tattoo down your spine.
Oh my god. Well, on that note,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen.
Anything else? I think I'm probably your best guest yet.
Yeah, it was a pleasure having you on, Kim. It's always nice to talk, catch up with my little sister, Always look out for her. So thank you for coming on the week. Thank you for coming on the We Move pod, Kim. We appreciate you. Got a ton of love for you. We're gonna put this out there tonight. Hopefully it drops before, the big game, where people can listen to this while they're watching the big USA Netherlands game. But thank you, Kim, for coming on. Great talking with you. Great catching up. I'm gonna text you, send everything over to you, keep up with you. Everybody,
Well,
everybody's gonna be pulling for you over there in Poland. Go ahead and bring it home this year. Bring home some
I'm
medals.
actually posting the links for the games this year so people can actually watch.
Yeah, thank you for posting the links. We'll be tapped in.
Mm-hmm.
All right, We Move Podcast, episode 3 of season 2. Kim Sanford, Kimberly Sanford, Philly, born and raised, unfortunately, an Eagles fan. It's gonna be pain when the Cowboys sweep them this year, but thanks for coming on, Kim.
That's crazy. All right, it's fine because I'm about to go to sleep anyway.
Okay. All right, Kim. Thanks. Man. I appreciate you. See you.
Bye.